So we're doing rear brakes on a 2004 Toyota Sienna. These are drum brakes. Okay, so looks like something's missing here. So I'm also doing the wheel cylinder because it was leaking, hence the fluid on the ground there. So I don't have a lot of battery, so I am not going to record the entire thing, but I am going to record certain points. First of all, you can see the orientation of the brakes. So let me get started. Take off the bottom spring first. That's going to be the first thing I do. Both retainer springs is already out because this person drove the brakes down to the wire. As you can see, there's no brake pad right here. This is what it's supposed to look like. Second thing I'm going to do is release this here spring. I like to use vice grips because they can grip real tight on everything. Simply pull it down, pull it out. That takes that off, and then you just slide it out of that groove and remove it. Usually always set it down on the side it's going to go on. This also is another extra piece they have here, not familiar with all the time, but I guess it serves as a bracket for the brake rear adjustment. And then we got this spring here, which we have to take off, and then we have this spring here under here. So pop that off. I got a little bent. We'll try to bend that back. And then we got this one. As you can see, this has already been removed because it was stuck on the rotor. So how I'm gonna do that is just gonna stick this in here. Out. There. Now that pad comes off, and of course that one falls down. So we match it up real quick with here. Bam, same one. Go off to the side. Take this. And as you can see, our markings here, so that means it's going to be in the top hole. Take this. Put that into the top hole there. Get our spring and a little retaining clip, and I gotta bend it back because again it got a little damaged. And make it a little flat here. Yep, that worked out. And what I do is I take my vice grip, right? I'll take this here. I'll stick it in the first one and there. And then you don't want it to be too tight so you don't bend it. So I loosen it just enough to grip it without bending it. And then you see the orientation here. Take it. I'm going to show you. Slides in the slot here like so, and then you twist it and then it retains it. So I gotta turn mine a different way so I make it a little You can turn it the rest of the way. Bam. So that's stable. Also got to take this cylinder off because it was leaking. 10 millimeter to release the brake line that's on there. Loosen up that brake line. And then a bolt holding it on. So the brake line goes in there, the two bolts hold it on, and it bolts on like so. So I'm gonna take the two retaining bolts out. And I'll show you what it looks like. See, loosen this brake line, and then these two bolts here out the back, and then that makes it come out. So let me set this back down so that you can see. Take that off. I set it in, and I just start the bolts into the retaining. I'll just get them started so that I have maneuvers, and of course you got to make it go up and down so that I can put the line in, because you can't install the line with it like this, because this point will push up against it and you can't get the bolt started. So how I do it is I set it in there. I just get these bolts in there to hold it in place, but not to tighten it down. Get it started. Once I get it started, then you take the brake line, slide it in the hole, start threading it in, and once you get the threads to start, once the threads are started where you can pull it and it doesn't come out, you go ahead and tighten up the retaining bolts. Because I opened up the line, you do have to bleed the brakes. And when you bleed the brakes, and just to tell you this now, just in case I don't have enough video, you always start from the furthest from the master cylinder. The master cylinder is usually always on the driver's side. So you always start here, then that rear, then this front, and then that front. So that's the process in which when you bleed brakes, you always start furthest from the master cylinder. That's done. Now we're gonna get back to finishing putting these brakes on. So, a couple of things about these brakes. Okay, so you got the master cylinder cable here. And remember the orientation. Pull that spring back. use the vice grip because, you know, they're my friend. Tighten it out enough to just grab this here thing. Once you get a grip on it, put tension on the spring. Just pop it out, just like that. Now, two things you gotta remove on this. You gotta remove this retaining clip and this retaining clip. And it's pretty simple how I do it. What I do is I take a screwdriver, I put it right in there, and I hit it with a hammer to get it to separate a little bit. Same thing, hit it with a hammer, get it to separate a little bit, and get under it and kind of pry it up and move it out, pry it up and move it out. And then when I get a little space in the back, I take this, put it in the back, take a hammer, pat, 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 and pop it out. And you want to try to keep these intact because they don't always give you these when you're doing a brake job. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna stop the video. So now you gotta wind that back down because that's the brake, emergency brake adjuster. And this one's kind of damaged, but it still works. A little tight on the winder, but it still works. I'm doing it. Get it to go all the way down. And then once you do that, then I'll show you the rest of the way. How to get it done. So I'm gonna pause you again.